What is CARPS? Somewhat superficially, it's a computer-aided role-playing system. But what does that actually mean? Welcome, I'm Murray, the game designer and developer that created this monstrosity, and over the next few videos I'm going to show you what CARPS is and what it can do for you. If you play TTRPGs, especially if you GM for others, or if you're interested in creating a fantasy or a sci-fi setting, or even just want to write about such settings, then as you'll see, CARPS could be of great use to you. So what is it? In essence, the CARPS application can be viewed as a VTT alternative. It is designed to help you run a TTRPG and comes with a lot of features to support this. It is not a computer game, but rather a tool to aid running a tabletop game, keeping track of all the little details and minimizing the cognitive load on the GM and players. What can it do? Over these videos we'll be going through the app's main features, illustrating them with examples. Some of these features will not be found in any other VTT, so may be of interest regardless of which role-playing system you're using. The features we're going to look at include random weather generation, map drawing, creating characters and other things in an encounter, actions and action options, the fog of war system, what happens when an encounter is run forwards in time, and because I have no idea how the algorithm works, the best feature last, adding entirely new things to the system to suit your own game. I plan on doing one video for each of these features, so remember to subscribe and keep an eye out for the upcoming videos. Okay, let's get started. In this first video, we're diving into weather generation. We want our encounter to have some weather. In order to generate some realistic weather conditions, we need to define what sort of planet we're on and the properties of the place or locale that the encounter is set in. You can create as many planets and locales as you need, keeping in mind that over time an encounter can move from one locale to another, and even from one planet to another, especially in a sci-fi setting. Looking at the locales and weather window, we can see some planets I've already created. Athar is the planet my sample campaign is set on. As you can see, it has the same properties as the Earth. If you're running a sci-fi game, you can easily define other planets in here with whatever properties you like, and those properties will affect the sort of weather generated for their locales. Moving to the Locales tab, this will list all locales you've created for the selected planet. Here we can see a number of locales I've defined in the mid-realms, which again is where my sample campaign is set. Changing a locale's latitude, altitude, ocean proximity and so on will all affect average day and night temperatures and seasonal variation. By the way, the planet's axial tilt will determine the strength of the seasons, so no axial tilt, no seasons. The terrain affects which types of weather are most common. For example, a desert locale won't get much rain. Once you've set these, you can calculate the seasonal details below, and this table will be used to guide any random weather that is generated for encounters in that locale. For this demo, I wanted some cold weather for the encounter, and looking through the locations, we can see the Mid-Realms Mountains is pretty cold, so we'll put our encounter there when we create it. Moving to the Weather Tables tab, the actual weather records are calculated on an hourly basis and can be reviewed or changed here. There's no records for this locale yet. Whenever you open an encounter that is tracking weather, the program will check and use existing weather records with a matching locale and date time. If there isn't any, the program will automatically start generating some. Of course, if you want, you can generate some at any time. This can be useful if you want a specific kind of weather, say when your game starts, or perhaps a character casts a powerful spell that affects the weather and you need to change it. Let's say we do want some specific weather and we want to start the encounter in mid-autumn. To do this, we can generate one day's worth of weather from 1510 to 1610, starting and ending at 8 AM, and during this time we want it to be partly cloudy. Once those details are in, just click the Generate Weather button. If you don't like the result, you can hit the button again until you're happy. Once an encounter is running forwards, the program will continue to generate more weather records every hour as required. Just to show this weather in action, we'll set an encounter to the same locale and date and open it. Encounters are found on the Campaigns window under the Encounters tab. Here's one I prepared earlier which I've called Lost in the Cold. As you can see, this encounter is in the Mid-Realms Mountains locale, has the same date and time, and track weather has been checked. As a result, when this encounter is opened, it will use the weather records we just created. To open an encounter, just select it and choose the Open an Encounter option from the File menu. By the way, this very neat SnowyForest map was created by George at dicegrimorium.com. I've put a link below in case you're interested in checking out more of his maps. Open encounters have a weather summary window in the left panel, and we can see it matches the weather we generated, being early morning, cold and partly cloudy. I've also put a peasant in this encounter, so you can see some of the effects the weather can have on him. The weather can change the temperature, making characters too hot or cold, the ambient light level, affecting how well they can see, and if it's raining, can make characters damp or wet, which in turn has some effects on them. It can also be windy, which imposes a penalty on missile attacks. At the moment, we can see the peasant is freezing, so he's not going to be too happy. The freezing state applies several penalties, such as a penalty to dex and skill checks, but the most serious is that hit points can be lost over time, and this scales with how cold the character gets. He's currently lost in the mountains and only has some basic clothes on his back, and for some reason, a shovel. Some items, like clothing, will change a character's personal temperature when worn, so without the clothes he's got on, he'd be even colder. So he's already suffering penalties, but now we're going to see what happens when we run the encounter forwards. The weather will change each hour, and if it stays too cold, he'll start losing hit points. To run the encounter forwards, we just need to use the action window, select how far forwards we want to go, and click the Run Encounter Forward button. As we can see, it's still bitterly cold, and he has indeed lost some hit points. We'll run the encounter forwards another 4 hours. While it's running forwards, the weather summary window will show what's happening each hour. It's now warmed up a bit and he's gone from freezing to just very cold. Running it forwards another 4 hours gets us into late afternoon. Then another 4 hours and it gets dark. As you can see, the ambient light level has dropped. CARPS has 5 levels of light, ranging from bright to pitch black. Bright is equal to daylight, dim is dawn or dusk, dark is a moonlit night, very dark is a moonless night, and pitch black is no light at all. Going another 4 hours into the night, the weather has gotten stormy, with lightning and rain icons appearing in the weather summary window. Then more rain when we go forwards again. Our poor peasant is still out in this weather and ends up damp and freezing again. Note that he wasn't carrying any food or water, so his situation's actually gotten worse. He's now thirsty as well. Okay, that's it for this demo. I think our peasant has suffered enough for one day. So, as you can see, CARPS can generate realistic random weather for any location you define, and will automatically apply those conditions to the characters as time goes forwards. Just to wrap up, I hope you found this interesting. Keep an eye out for the next one, where we'll be looking at maps and how they can integrate with the Fog of War system. For more info on CARPS, the rulebook, other bits and pieces, check out my website and of course the YouTube channel. And if you've got an Android device, have a look at my free dice roller. If you're feeling really generous and you want to support me, you could even purchase the full version. That's all for now, folks, and may your characters always be awesome.